everyone. Let's see if I remember how to do this right. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
Hello there, beautiful people. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Join us for the next hour and a half as we kickstart your Monday with good vibes, great company, and stories and conversations that matter. So Paolo del Rosario is back fresh from Boracay with a golden tan to boot. You are so tan.
No. I am golden.
Yeah nga, golden tan.
Iba yun, alright? So, grabe yung pagka-zoomin mo direct.
You are gold.
But, ganito yun alright?
Spandau Ballet.
Okay, lumalabas yung edad natin But I would like to think na iba talaga yung glow galing Boracay. Kasi minsan, let's say you go to a different province or you go overseas and then you're nagbilad ka sa araw, sometimes you end up medyo gray, ashy.
Ganun ba
Pero
yun?
iba yung pagka-golden brown ng Boracay Parang I always say that after Boracay, feeling ko fried chicken ako.
Hindi ba
Yung
bias ka
crispy
lang because
golden
the love
brown?
of your life is there?
Hindi lang yan. Well, of course, it helps. Pero wala naman magagawa yung presence niya sa skin tone ko.
Okay.
But, iba talaga yung, just look, the sunset in Boracay is one of a kind.
Yes.
I posted about it a lot. It doesn't matter who's there. Kahit man yung love of your life yung nandun, kailangan mong hawian yung mukha.
I know, I saw that
importante
post.
na makita yung sunset. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out yung Instagram ko. You'll see. Don't let anyone get in the way of your happiness. Yan pong importante. Don't ever forget that. Happy Monday. And how do we do the show again?
Well, we talk a lot on the show.
Okay.
And then later on, we're going to be talking to a veterinarian.
Yes, we will.
Kasi syempre, we already had this conversation on the show before, but we can't stress it enough. We need to take care of our pets, especially now, sobrang init ng panahon.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I just wait lang Di ba tatlo tayo dati? Nasa Italy pa si Mo.
Yes.
Ano kaya yung Italian sun? Ano kaya nangyayari sa'yo kapag...
She actually has a photo that says the Italian sun hits different.
Exactly, but how different? Kung nasa Boracay ka, crispy golden brown ka, ano na siya?
Italian
Sun-dried
roast.
tomato? I don't know kung ano.
Italian roast?
Naging kape?
Right?
Baka. Well, we'll see. We'll
I'm
find
just so
out.
glad you're back.
Thank you.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
great to be back. I think that's the longest break I've taken in a while. You deserve a break. Ang dami mong ginagawang show. I mean, congratulations on doing Agenda.
Thank
And
you.
of course, there is just so much that that happened in the past a week and a half. And of course, I've been keeping up with it via our Facebook and our YouTube, which you should share right now to all your friends and family. And of course, you're watching us online as well. But let's go into something that never changes, no matter what the day, whether I'm here or not, which is the traffic today.
That's right. Let's go check out the roads and major thoroughfares this morning. Let's take a look at EDSA White Plains. On the left side of your screens are vehicles going to Shaw Boulevard, already looking very busy. You'll be slowing things down as moderate traffic is already building up on that stretch. Now, if you look at the opposite lane on the right side, those are the vehicles going to Cubao. No problem yet as of this hour. Now, this time, let's go take a look at EDSA Orense in Makati. On the left side are the vehicles going to Pasay City, light traffic on that stretch. Opposite lane, right side are vehicles going to Shaw Boulevard, light traffic as well. Now, the expanded vehicle number coding scheme is in full swing. It's a Monday, so vehicles with license plates ending in 1 and 2 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And what's the weather going to be like this Monday? Paolo has the day's forecast from Weather HQ. Take it away, Pao.
Thanks, Anne. Let's take a look at the local weather and what is affecting the country today. Now, the Philippines remains under the influence of the same dominant weather systems. Now, the Intertropical Convergence Zone, or the Convergence Zone, or the ITCZ, is impacting the Palawan, Visayas, and Mindanao regions, while the easterlies continue to affect the rest of the country. While the ITCZ is still present, residents in Palawan, Negros Island region, Western Visayas, and the Zamboanga Peninsula should expect cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, some of which may be heavy. Now, please be ready and vigilant for possible flash floods or landslides. Now, for other areas in Visayas, Mindanao, and Mimaropa, the ITCZ will continue to bring partly cloudy skies, cloudy conditions with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. Severe storms may also trigger flash floods or landslides. So do watch out for that here in the Palawan and the Visayas as well as the Mindanao regions. Now, let's go on over to Metro Manila. In Metro Manila and the remaining parts of Luzon, the easterlies will cause partly cloudy to generally cloudy skies. Now, you can expect hot and humid weather that will persist all throughout the day, with a chance of isolated rain showers or thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon or in the evening. Now, the easterly winds continue to intensify. That means the sweltering heat across the Philippines also intensifies. Now, driving heat index levels to extremely dangerous levels. Let's take a look at Pag-asa's latest heat index forecast. Dagupan City has still the highest heat index in the country with a whopping red-hot 46 degrees Celsius. Close behind is Aparian, Cagayan with a blistering 45 degrees Celsius, and that is the couple of regions here we're looking at that range. Temperatures in the following locations are forecast to climb to 44 degrees Celsius, including Luwag in Ilocos Norte, Tuguegarao City, Sangli Point in Cavite, Masbate City, Pili, Camarines Sur. Other areas expected to experience a heat index of 43 degrees Celsius include Batac, Ilocos Norte, Bacnoten, La Union, Etiaga, Isabela, and Baler, Aurora, as well as Subic Bay, Olongapo. Also expect to hit 43 degrees Celsius are Camiling in Tarlac, Infanta, Quezon, and Iloilo in Iloilo City. Dumangas is also included. These locations are projected to see a heat index of 42 degrees Celsius. Pasay City, Quezon City, Sinait, Ilocos Sur, Casiguran, Aurora, and Iba, Zambales. Also reaching 42 degrees Celsius are San Ildefonso, Bulacan, Alabat, Quezon, Catbalogan in Western Samar, Giwan in Eastern Samar. Now, with the sizzling heat, which brings heightened health risks such as heat exhaustion and stroke, make sure that you stay safe and hydrated as well as take the necessary precaution. Now, let's take a look at the conditions over our coastal waters. Pag-asa reports there are no gale warnings that are currently in effect. Smooth sailing today with generally calm seas with light winds and gentle waves. A reminder to our fisherfolk and seafarers, I'll stay updated with the latest weather bulletins before setting out. That's it for Weather HQ at the moment, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Pao, for that weather update. Now on to our top stories. President Bongbong Marcos will call for a unified response to U.S. tariffs among ASEAN member states. That as PBBM heads to the 46th Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia today until May 28th. Aside from the economy, ASEAN leaders are set to discuss regional and maritime disputes, particularly the South China Sea.
At this summit, I will join fellow ASEAN leaders in reaffirming our commitment to ASEAN centrality as we navigate pressing regional and global challenges, including developments in the South China Sea, the situation in Myanmar, threats to regional peace and maritime security, as well as the far-reaching impacts of climate change, economic volatility, and digital disruption.
In his absence, the president left his post to Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Justice Secretary Boying Remulla, and Agrarian Reform Secretary Conrado Estrella III. The three previously served as the president's caretakers during his trip to Laos last year.
Cagayan de Oro Representative Rufus Rodriguez calls out a U.S. travel advisory warning Americans of increased safety risks in the Philippines. Rodriguez calls the alert, quote, unfair and a shotgun warning. He explains it unfairly paints the whole country in a bad light, even though many areas are safe for tourists. The travel advisory places the Philippines under level 2. Exercise increased caution, citing crime, terrorism, civil unrest, and kidnapping. Certain areas are classified under stricter warnings. Rodriguez is urging the DFA to summon U.S. Ambassador Mary Kay Carlson and urge President Marcos to seek answers from Philippine officials in Washington and Manila. He insists the advisory should be more targeted and not generalize the entire country.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte's lawyer in the ICC has made a heavy allegation against President Bongbong Marcos. Nicholas Kaufman says that the case against Duterte is politically motivated and allegedly being supported directly by the current administration.
The real prosecutor in this case is actually in Manila, sitting in his palace. He's the person who threw President Duterte over here to The Hague. He's the person who used the office of the prosecutor as a tool in his political campaign, and it won't work.
Even while detained, former President Duterte achieved a landslide win in Davao City for the position of mayor, a significant statement to those who are backing his prosecution. Kaufman says the president remains in good health and hopes the people continue to support him.
Finger in the eye to the people who threw him over here. Correct. That's the real point of the elections. It was a protest vote.
The former president is currently being charged with crimes against humanity in the ICC for the thousands of deaths linked to his war on drugs.
Supporters of former President Rodrigo Duterte gathered in The Hague to celebrate his win as Davao City Mayor. Senator Robin Padilla was among those who joined the victory party. Over 80 supporters of FPRRD traveled from Paris for the party held at Malbid Park. They also celebrated the wins of senators who were backed by the former president during the midterm elections. The supporters also renewed their appeal to bring FPRRD back home. Duterte has been detained in The Hague since March.
In behalf of the Duterte family, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Sa Tuesday, bibisitahin ko man siya. Ipapaabot ko talaga po ang inyong solidarity at saka unity. Maraming salamat po.
Justice Secretary Boying Remulla says he is open to a possible reassignment in the cabinet of President Marcos. Remulla earlier said that he supports PBBM's decision to recalibrate his administration. He adds the president needs to make sure in appointing the right people in key posts. This comes after President Marcos asked his cabinet to submit courtesy resignations last week.
In world news, U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem arrived in Israel to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. This comes just days after the killing of 2 Israeli embassy staffers in Washington. The suspect who chanted "Free Palestine" during his arrest was identified as 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez from Chicago. Noem is expected to meet Netanyahu first and Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar next. Meanwhile, Israel has launched another airstrike on Gaza over the weekend, killing 23 Palestinians, including 2 Red Cross staff and a local journalist. Pope Leo XIV was installed on Sunday in the Basilica of St. John Lateran, the seat of the Diocese of Rome. The new pontiff, elected on May 8th, is by right the Bishop of Rome and symbolically took possession of the throne of St. Peter inside the basilica.
A world that suffers so much pain from wars, violence, poverty. But the Lord asks us Christians to always be this living witness. May Almighty God bless you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Good evening, everyone. May we live with this joy always.
At the end of the ceremony, Leo headed to the Basilica of St. Mary Major, where his predecessor Francis chose to be buried. The pontiff also paid homage to the icon of Salus Populi Romani, protectress of the Roman people. Pope Leo XIV appointed Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle as the new titular bishop of Albano, CBCP News reports. Tagle succeeds Pope Leo, who held the title of Cardinal Bishop of Albano since February 2025. The Diocese of Albano is located just outside of Rome and is one of the 7 suburbicarian sees associated with cardinal bishops. Tagle had previously served as the cardinal priest of the Church of San Felice de Cantalice in Centocelle since 2012. Pope Francis elevated Tagle to the Order of Cardinal Bishops in 2022, assigning him to the same titular church.
Over in sports, a valiant effort from Filipino tennis star Alex Ayala as she bows out of her main draw debut at the French Open. The 20-year-old struggled with rain and errors at Roland Garros. Ayala fought back after a first-set shutout against Colombia's Emiliana Arango. The Filipino ace took the second set 6-2 and was leading 3-1 in set number 3 when rains stopped the match and halted her momentum. A familiar foe, Arango, took over after the delay and sealed the match. Still in France, a tribute fit for the French Open's greatest champion, Rafael Nadal. The King of Clay was honored at Roland Garros with friends and rivals Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, and Andy Murray joining thousands in attendance. The Spanish legend became emotional after he watched a short film about his journey and triumph in the Clay Court Classic. Nadal, who retired after his campaign in 2024, is the French Open's most decorated champion with 14 titles. Now, here at home, Gilas Pilipinas Youth remains undefeated so far in the FIBA Under-16 Asia Cup SIABA qualifiers. Gilas Youth showed no mercy, defeating Thailand by 45 points, 87-42, for their second straight win in the tournament. Carl Gabriel de los Reyes led the Young Guns with 16 points and 9 rebounds. Prince Carino added 15 points and 7 boards, while Gilas Youth Under-16 head coach L.A. Tenorio seeks to make it 3-0 in their next assignment against Singapore.
And in entertainment, the Lumpia Queen wins again. Pinoy Pride once again takes the international stage as Abby Marquez becomes one of the winners at the World Influencers and Bloggers Awards in Cannes. Abby posted her victory on Facebook, saying, "OMG guys, nanalo ako!" wearing a stunning red dress embroidered with "Kain tayo." Back in 2024, Marquez won the Webby People's Choice Award in New York, declaring, "We did it, fam," at her victory. Way to go, Abby! Oh my goodness, you know, it all started with us manifesting here.
Wait lang. Let's be fair. When she gets it on the show, nanalo
Sikat
na
na
siya.
siya. Oo
Nanalo
naman.
na siya ng award. Okay? Nakiride lang tayo.
I feel like nung nag-manifest tayo, sunod-sunod na.
Hindi!
Oh my
I mean,
God.
like, to be fair, she was already on the up, si
Yes,
Abby.
yes.
But again, congratulations, Abby. Kain tayo. I love the concept of her dress.
Look at that. It's so pretty. And yung pagka-embroider ng kain tayo is perfect on the edge of the skirt.
And the details are so important. Tignan mo yung nails niya, pagkain na rin.
Pagkain, yes.
Oo, I mean, like, you know, it's like what the young people say right now. Like,
And
let her eat.
her clutch is a spaghetti, a pasta box. Did you see that? That is amazing.
You know what? Yes, I agree. Kain tayo, napaka-simple but very effective.
Yes.
And congratulations against Abby. You know, hopefully we can have you on the show again and we can talk about that latest win. Again, congratulations to Abby. And this is an invitation, open invitation. Balik ka dito. Thank you.
Oh, please, Abby, we want to see you here again. Well, anyway, moving on. Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, pulled in a whopping $494 million in ticket sales worldwide. Disney's live-action Lilo and Stitch led the charge with over $300 million globally, breaking records for a family film. Tom Cruise's return as Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible added another $190 million to the box office, outperforming previous franchise hits. With blockbusters like Ballerina and How to Train Your Dragon on the way, Hollywood is banking on big returns. And it's really exciting, you know, because a lot of big movies are coming out. We have Fantastic Four, Superman, Jurassic World.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, I'm just happy more and more people are going back to the cinemas.
Yes.
because as great as Netflix is, as great as watching it in our laptops at like whatever time, I miss the whole going to the movies with a nice tub of popcorn with butter and barbecue.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not what you want, you boring person.
Grabe!
Mali ba ako?
The bullying is back on the
How
show.
is that? Oh, why is it bullying? Because you prefer that?
Yeah, I prefer that. So, what's wrong with that? It's not boring.
Guys, okay.
Plain popcorn with salt is not boring, guys. Diba? I know a lot of people agree with me on that. Okay,
Wala!
silence.
Wala nag-agree! Anyway, great to see movies making a comeback. I also, the next wish list I have is that Filipino movies also start bringing in that type of audience again. Especially with the increased quality that we've been seeing lately.
Yeah,
Sana naman yung mga local films din, we'll see more and more people go to the cinemas to see it.
Let's go watch a movie. You haven't seen Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I haven't seen Lilo and Stitch. I want to see Lilo and Stitch next.
Yes, and Mission Impossible.
Yeah, Mission Impossible also.
Alam mo, sabi ni Direk Carrie, nanood siya ng Mission Impossible, and when she saw Tom Cruise running like that, she remembered me.
So Direk.
Naalala niya ako
So
doon.
Direk, it wasn't that great a movie, tama ba? Or
Grabe to!
was it ruined?
Anyway, how should we care for pets in this brutal heat? Kasing brutal ni Pao. We get advice from veterinarian Stephanie Bautista after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Animal ka!
Hi there and welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. It's not only humans that are feeling the heat, our pets are also not spared from the sweltering temperatures. How can we keep them safe, especially during dry season? Joining us is Dr. Stephanie Bautista, the head veterinarian of Vet Home Service. It's a beautiful day, Doc Steph. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, good morning. It's a beautiful day. Thank you so much for having me again.
Doc, we can't stress it enough na we have to take care of our pets, especially now, sobrang init. Apart from heat stroke and the like, Doc, what are the other summer-related illnesses that you see in cats and dogs?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. Now, these diseases, they're more common during the summer season, but they can still appear all year round. So the most common that we see, aside from heat stroke, because that's always number one, number two is we have the emergence of tick and fleas on our pets. So yung mga puto, yung mga garapata. And then number three, they can get dehydrated quickly during the summer because they pant and they lose water a lot. Now, number four, we also have an emergence of allergy-related diseases. So what we call seasonal allergies. So ito yung pinaka-common na nakikita natin, and this can happen all year round, pero during the summer, mas dapat pantayan natin itong mga sakit na ito.
Doc, when you take a look at our pets, our companions, we always are worried or wary about yung early signs of heat stroke, early signs that they are struggling. But
Yes.
then I want to focus on yung early signs of struggle sila sa temperature. And typically, the signs that we might miss kasi it might be a bit subtle. What are those signs that we have to watch out for?
Yes. So always po natin tandaan, kapag naiinitan po tayo, mas naiinitan po yung dogs and cats natin. Because they don't regulate temperature the way we do. They don't sweat. So you can usually see when they're feeling a little hot is they pant. So panting ay open mouth breathing, and then they have their tongue out. So when they're panting, just a regular amount, like that's usually normal. But when they're panting more than that, like very fast breathing, that's abnormal already. it means that they're struggling to keep the heat out of their bodies. So makapal yung balahibo nila, mataas yung temperature nila, mas naiinitan sila sa regular temperature na okay sa atin. So titingnan natin kapag when they're feeling a little weak, no, hindi sila masyado nagre-respond sa mga calls natin. Pag napansin natin na medyo mainit po yung paws. And also kapag the worst cases is pag nag-collapse na sila. So pag ganun po, it's already an emergency.
Yeah, hindi na yan early sign. Oo.
Hindi na siya early sign. Yes, early sign yung very fast breathing. Yan yung una natin nakikita.
Pag nag-collapse na, ibig sabihin, pinalampas mo na lahat the symptoms that you saw. My
Yes.
goodness.
Check. Yeah.
So, if you notice these early symptoms that you mentioned, Doc, anong pwede namin gawin? And what are the best ways to keep our pets cool ngayong tag-init?
Yes. So, when you notice these early signs, the first thing that you will do is give them hydration. So, bigyan nyo sila ng tubig. Kasi, like I said, when they pant a lot, they can lose water very quickly. Okay si panting for some time, pero when they pant too much, tapos kulang na yung airflow nila, pag wala masyadong pumapasok na hangin sa loob ng kwarto, yung panting can be ineffective already. So, bigyan nyo sila ng tubig. Keep them in a shaded area kung nasa labas kayo. Kung nasa loob kayo, turn on your fans. Better, turn on your air condition if you have. And then, pag itong mga measures na to, hindi na po nag-work, give them cooled water already. Tapos, lagay po kayo ng water on a towel and place it on their bodies. Yan. So, they can cool down very quickly. Pero wag po kayo maglagay ng mga ice, like yung refrigerant gels, huwag niyo po ilagay sa katawan nila. Just water na may just towel na may water na apot.
You mentioned no ice, pero can you, in terms of yung mga water bowls sila or yung mga water bottles, okay naman na may ice doon siguro? Or is that also something that we have to watch out for? There is something maybe too cold a temperature sa tubig ng mga aso at mga pusa?
Yes, that's a very good question. Because we, as humans, okay sa atin yung very iced water. Pero we have to understand na iba din po yung pag-regulate talaga nila ng temperature. So, okay si ice cold water kapag galing po sila sa mainit na lugar. Kunyari, galing kayo sa labas. Kailangan nila mag-cool down very quickly. So, water with ice is okay. Pero kung nasa loob lang naman sila ng bahay, just cold water. So, hindi na po kailangan ng lagyan ng ice. Just yung medyo malamig lang po. Para hindi po magulat yung katawan nila sa sudden change in temperature.
Doc, you mentioned earlier that ticks and fleas are more active during the dry, hot season. What risks do they pose to pets? And ano bang mga first aid remedy na pwede natin gawin if we notice na parang dumadami yung ticks and fleas ng pets natin?
Yes, so ticks and fleas, they like the warm and humid weather. So mas nagbe-breed sila. Pag mainit yung panahon, mas dumadami sila and they can infect our dogs more. So, tick and fleas, hindi lang po sila pesky. They also carry diseases that can be very life-threatening. No? So, first of all, yung fleas, yung mga fleas, pag nakagat po yung pets natin, they can, if your pet has dermatitis or allergic to the flea, they can get flea allergy dermatitis. And also, yung fleas, they carry tapeworm. So, even if your dog is regularly dewormed, pag nakagat po sila ng flea na may tapeworm dala, they can get tapeworm again. Now, yung mga ticks naman, there are another species which carry what we call blood parasites. So, yung blood parasites, they come in different species. We have Ehrlichia, Anaplasma, and Babesia. So, these blood parasites infect your dog's red blood cells, white blood cells, and when they get infected, the dog's body, they will eliminate the organism inside and will destroy the dog's own red blood cells and their own wet blood cells. So when this happens, naging anemic po yung pet natin, bumababa po yung platelet nila, and then it can be very life-threatening pag masyado pong marami na po yung na-infect na cells ng organism na yon. So these organisms, they come from the bite of infected ticks. So when your dog gets bitten by this tick, napupunta sa katawan nila yon, and then yun nga, nagiging life-threatening siya. We can prevent this. So I always say sa clients ko, prevention is better than cure. Before your pet gets bitten, dapat meron na po tayong mga measures para hindi talaga siya makagat. So we have tick and flea preventives available sa mga vet clinics natin. So we have different kinds. We have spot-ons, we have oral tick and flea preventives, we also have the tick and flea collars, and also the injection. This is actually fairly new. Yung injection na tick and flea prevention. Yeah. That's already good for 1 year. So wala na po kayong iisipin. Just go to your nearest vet clinic and you tell them, Doc, what can I do to, kasi depende din po yan sa pet nyo. If they are high risk or low risk or, medium risk to get tick and fleas.
Yeah. One of the ways that some people try to manage it is and actually identify it kung may ticks and fleas is that minsan pinapasummer cut nila yung mga aso nila, especially yung mga Shih Tzu kasi ang daming Shih Tzu dito sa Pilipinas. I have 6 and that's a naka-summer cut. But when you take a look at the fact that we use this to identify the fleas and the ticks or even deal with yung temperature, trying to keep them cool, is that really advisable when it comes to dealing with yung mga breeds in particular na medyo mahaba talaga ang coats of fur?
Yes. So, yung grooming during the summer cut, lalo na pag mga long-coated breeds like your Shih Tzu, it can be very effective in keeping them cool. So, like I said kanina, makapal yung balahibo ng mga pets natin. Okay? So, pag makapal po yung balahibo nila, they're unable to regulate temperature more. So, keeping them in a summer cut will help them feel cool. Huwag niyo lang po sila ipakalbo because that will actually upset minsan yung temperature regulation nila. So, masyado na silang nalalamigan. So, a summer cut is the perfect cut for them to get cooled down during the summer season.
My dog is always summer cut, even during the rainy season. Kasi I'm the one who bathes my baby. So, it's really easy to see, pag may tick and flea siya, pagka summer cut siya palagi.
Kala ko ikaw yung summer cut ng aso mo.
Hindi ko. But nung pandemic, I tried. I did, actually, kasi ang hirap, di ba? Hindi mo madala sa pet stores yung mga, yung mga pets mo. But anyway, let's talk about, Doc, the food that we feed our pets during the summer season. Should we consider adjusting ba their diet sa tag-init?
It's not more about adjusting the diet, but it's adding to the diet.
Okay.
So I always suggest adding wet food to their diet. Because like I said, when it's hot, they pant more and they get dehydrated more. So the way to offset dehydration is giving them wet food at least once a day. Because wet food contains a lot of moisture. It's 80% water. So even when they're eating food, they're also getting hydrated at the same time.
Okay.
So you can also add water or broth to your wet food so that they get more water. And also adjusting your feeding times. You can feed them during the cooler times of the day, like early morning or early evening. Because some pets, they don't eat when they feel hot, when they don't feel comfortable. So when feeding them during the cooler times, they can eat more.
Yeah. Doc, okay, I love this next question kasi nagpaparinig ako dito eh. When we take a look at, syempre, minsan we bring our pets out to summer outings or even to the mall or wherever. Is it advisable that we obviously take precautions, pero some people will be like, mainitan yung paa nila. They're gonna put shoes on their dogs, their pets. O minsan, baka mainitan sila, may stroller. Advisable ba yun na direct zoom in on Anne, na mag-stroller, magsapatos yung mga aso at pusa natin as a way of preventing them from feeling too hot over at the summertime?
Actually, when I'm out, I find it really amusing because I see some strollers with fans on them.
Yes. Oo nga.
So I have like 2-3 portable fans on the stroller. And I think that's amazing because, it's really creative.
Right, Doc?
Yes.
Kasi we want to keep them cool. Minsan wala ka naman sa air-conditioned na venue. So, yung fans will really help your pets.
Do you have fans on your stroller?
Wala pa naman.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Doc.
Some will have the really expensive ones.
Yeah, actually.
Now, when they step on hot concrete, it can actually burn their paw sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I really recommend socks if you're out
Socks.
on a hot concrete. But when you're out in the mall, tiles naman po sa mall eh. So, kahit hindi na po. Kasi pag masyado din po marami silang sinusuot, like yung mga damit, o makakapal na damit, o the hats, and the socks, pwede din po silang mainitan masyado.
Really, Anne?
What?
Okay.
What have you got against pet strollers?
Who's walking who? Yan yung tanong ko palagi. But, Doc, sorry, before we get out off track here, I want to ask about the shoes as well. Kasi you mentioned you prefer the socks, but then we actually see some pets in particular who walk around with the shoes, pero parang nahihirapan sila eh. Nagkaka-balance issues bigla. May shoe size ba yung mga aso? Is there something
Yes,
we have
they
to
do.
consider? We have to consider the shoe size?
Meron actually.
Oo, like what's the best way?
I recommend the shoes when they're on hot concrete. But when you're walking on normal, regular, cool down floors, you don't really need them. Because you're right, sometimes they're not used to it. They live their whole lives without it. And then suddenly they have this thing on their paws and it can get very comfortable very fast. So it really depends on the situation.
Doc, before we let you go, can I habol one question? Kasi we mentioned kanina na hindi advisable to give them cold water. But I see reels on TikTok and Facebook where some pet owners, they make yung mga icicles, popsicles, dog popsicles for their pets. Is that is that recommended or is it healthy? Advisable ba siya?
The icicle, they eat the icicle.
Popsicles,
they're
no? Yung
just
parang
lick-
popsicles.
Yeah. When it's too cold and they lick the icicles, they can get burned as well.
Okay.
So I just suggest just giving them regular water. Regular water works fine. Cool down water works fine. So yeah, we don't need a lot of gimmicks. We just need to give them what's best. Kung ano yung available at all times, like fresh water. Yun lang po yung pinaka-basic na pwede natin mapigay.
All right, so we don't need all those gimmicks like, strollers minsan. I don't know. Or strollers na walang fan.
Ay, nako. Thank you so much, Doc Stephanie Bautista, for joining us again today, Head Veterinarian of Vet Home Service. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, we've got more stories for you after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. After a series of robberies in Bonifacio Global City, the Gig City PNP is increasing its presence in the area. This follows the latest incident where a Korean national was robbed by a riding in tandem of their luxury bag worth an estimated 200,000 pesos.
Meron naman po talaga tayong mga personnel po na naka-deployed po dyan. Nagdagdag pa din po tayo nang sa ganun po mas since kasi di po ba napakalaki naman po talaga ng BGC. So kahit super dami po ng mga PNP personnel natin dyan, parang may instances po na katulad niyan, di po ba? So dinagdagan pa din po natin yung police visibility dun sa area. And then nakipag-coordinate din po tayo sa mga security personnel po ng BGC na kung sakali pong may ganyang incident, makapag-report agad nang sa ganun, agad-agad din po nating matugunan.
The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission is also taking measures to strengthen tourist security around the country and has given recommendations to the PNP to help avoid further incidents.
The city government of Taguig will retain its access and control over all facilities within the Embo area that were previously within the territory of Makati. The Taguig Regional Trial Court Branch 153 so ordered in a decision dated May 22. Meanwhile, the Makati city government will no longer have access to the facilities within Embo villages, including health centers, daycare centers, and covered court, among others. Makati Mayor-elect Nancy Binay earlier said she is open to working with the Taguig LGU to service Embo residents.
A motorcycle taxi platform is pushing back hard after a government order that threatens to sideline thousands of its riders. Move It says this isn't just about operations, it's about jobs, fairness, and clarity in regulation. Our mobility correspondent G. Baroga has a story.
Motorcycle taxi platform Move It isn't backing down just yet. The company has filed a supplemental appeal with the LTFRB, pushing back against an April order that told them to stop operations in Cebu and Cagayan de Oro and cut back their riders in Metro Manila. This isn't their first move either, as it had already submitted a motion for reconsideration, which is why the DOTR hasn't enforced the order yet. Everything's still on pause for now while the appeal plays out.
Kine-question kasi namin yung proseso kung paano sila nakapaglabas ng ganong order. So, yun naman yung laman ng final namin ngayon. No? Paano sila nakapaglabas ng ganong order na hindi namin nakita yung ibang miyembro ng TWG na pumirma doon sa order na yon.
Jacinto insists Move It followed the 15,000 rider cap set by the technical working group, based on their official guidelines, not press releases. He also points out that Move It was the only operator singled out in the rider cutback. All they're asking, he says, is fair treatment for operators and riders who depend on them. Another reason for the appeal is the impact on morale. Jacinto shares their riders are understandably worried, and the company wants them to know they've got their backs.
We always do that. No? We communicate with our riders through the team. Binibigyan namin sila assurance na sa laban na to, no, nandun naman kami lagi sa likod nila. At hindi naman namin papabayaan na mawala sila ng hanap buhay.
Move It is now calling on the government to take a deeper look at the case, especially with about 14,000 families potentially affected across Metro Manila, Cebu, and CDO.
Lagi naman kami handang makipagtulungan sa gobyerno, sa regulators, sa body ng government para maisaayos ang lahat. Kasi nga, at the end of the day, kinakailangan namin ang tulong ng lahat ng stakeholders nang sa ganun, mabigyan natin ng magandang kabuhayan at kinabukasan yung mga riders na umaasa sa atin.
One thing Jacinto made clear is that no strikes are on the table. He says the focus is still on giving passengers top-notch service, especially with the EDSA rebuild happening soon. As for the LTFRB, spokesperson Ariel Inton clarifies the decision wasn't theirs alone. It was a group call made by the TWG, led by LTFRB Chairman Chofilo Guadis. Inton also adds that the agency remains open to talks with transport groups. For BNC Mobility, G. Baroga.
More sports updates. A breakthrough for Lando Norris as he wins a Monaco Grand Prix for the first time. The British star edged out Ferrari's Charles Leclerc and his McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri. Norris also slashed Piastri's lead to 3 points in a race that was more about strategy than speed. It was Norris' second straight victory in 8 races. Rather, second victory in 8 races. And the first since the Australian season opener back in March. This was also McLaren's first victory at Monaco since 2008. Meanwhile, Bilyonaryo Congressman Mikey Romero adds a new distinction to his resume: the best amateur polo player in Southeast Asia. Romero overtook the son of the Sultan of Brunei and the heir to Thailand's King Power Empire in the latest World Polo Tour rankings. The Filipino sports patron surged to number 24 in the WPT amateur standings with 110 points. Romero had a spectacular debut at this year's Gauntlet of Polo in Florida, as he led his team Global Port Polo, which is the first full Asian squad to compete at this level.
In other news, only a fraction of companies in the Philippines are complying with plastic waste recovery targets, despite a national law requiring action from major producers. Now, a social enterprise is stepping in to help industry players close the gap and turn sustainability compliance into a scalable solution. Soojin Kim has more.
Friends, we are at a critical juncture. Globally, the plastics crisis is drawing unprecedented attention and opportunity.
The Philippines is falling behind in its fight against plastic waste, despite a national law mandating recycling under the Extended Producer Responsibility Act. Only 20 to 30% of businesses have met their compliance targets. With over 2.7 million metric tons of plastic waste generated annually, mostly from fast-moving consumer goods, the government has raised the 2025 compliance threshold to 40%, signaling a tougher stance on accountability. Instead of building their own waste systems, companies are turning to Plastic Bank, a social fintech enterprise that turns waste into a form of currency. Under its model, plastic is collected from low-income communities and traded for groceries, tuition, insurance, and other essential goods.
We have 260 collection points. These are not only in Luzon. We have access until Visayas in Mindanao.
The system uses blockchain to track collection, credits, and reporting, ensuring transparency for brand partners seeking to file their APR compliance reports. Brands such as SC Johnson, Revlon, Coca-Cola, 3M, Henkel, and Del Monte have chosen to partner with Plastic Bank in place of building independent recycling infrastructure.
The Philippine EPR Act offers a roadmap to action, but it must be backed by the right enablers. It's about positioning the Philippines as a regional hub for circular innovation with Canadian collaboration and investment.
For each metric ton of plastic collected, companies receive a plastic credit used to meet government requirements. Collectors earn between 10 to 15 pesos per kilo, with additional benefits like medical insurance, schooling, and even microloans. The Canadian Chamber of Commerce is now calling for more incentives, public-private partnerships, and blended finance to expand impact at scale.
At the Canadian Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, we're committed to advancing business-led sustainability. We must empower companies to invest in the systems and innovations that make circularity a reality. CanCham has proposed to the government to consider to incentivize obliged enterprises.
Plastic Bank is also developing a financial advance system, allowing users to borrow against their future plastic collections, turning environmental action into a source of financial stability. Soojin Kim, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Up next, I'll speak with the Sugar Regulatory State Commission Administration as the sugar farms in northern Negros Occidental deal with the big threats of a small insect. Find out more after the break. Stay with us. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Still business as usual in the Transportation Department amid President Marcos's sweeping revamp of his cabinet. As G. Baroga reports, the DOTR remains as busy as ever in its plans to reform the country's transportation system.
Seryoso kami dito. Mga iniisip ng iba, yung mga ginagawang mga suspension ng lisensya, show cause order, revocation, ngayon lang yan. Hindi. Habang nandito kami sa kwestong to, ang kabilin-bilin ng Pangulo, go after all of them.
The DOTR isn't messing around. Secretary Vince Dizon says they're cracking down for real and it's not just a one-time campaign. Under direct orders from PBBM, they're going after all forms of corruption and negligence in the transport system. As part of this cleanup, The DOTR and the LTO are fixing long-standing issues, including going after fixers and driving schools that are breaking the rules.
We have already suspended, sir, around 107 driving schools. Just in the last 2 weeks, nahuli na ang audit trail namin yan in various regions nationwide.
The driving schools are located in Central Luzon, Calabarzon, and Metro Manila. According to the LTO, these schools were skipping crucial requirements like making sure applicants actually show up for the training or follow the proper steps for the theoretical driving course. Now, the LTO says it's full speed ahead on making the licensing process smoother and faster.
There are reforms in place that soon we will announce na talagang gumaganda na po ang ating servisyo. Yung mga pagkakamali, yung kulang nung nakaraan, tinatakpan po natin yan, dinalagay natin sa ayos.
And while they're fixing the system, they're also going after those who are taking advantage of it online. The DOTR, LTO, and the PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group have presented one of the suspects they caught selling fake driver's licenses and PWD IDs on the internet, a violation of the Cybercrime Prevention Act.
Kung ikaw yung nagbebenta ng lisensya na hindi dadaan sa requisitos ng pagkuha ng lisensya, lalong-lalo na yung practical exam, malaking problema. At isa yan sa mga malaking problemang kailangan natin ayusin.
Yung ating nahuling suspect ay makakalabas na po siya pagka siya ay nakapagpiyansa. So, 10 counts of falsified documents po yung ating naikaso at bawat count po na naikaso natin ay meron siyang 36,000 pesos na piyansa.
As for the bigger picture, Secretary Dizon says the crackdown won't stop anytime soon, and he's asking the public to help out. He encourages social media users and the media to tag transport agencies whenever they spot anything fishy, so authorities can validate and take action. For BNC Mobility, G. Baroga.
And we have more stories for you guys after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. This is Weather HQ. Sugar farms in northern Negros Occidental are now facing a serious threat from the red-striped soft-scale insect. To tell us more about the situation and the response, we are joined by SRA Administrator Mr. Pablo Luis Ascona. Magandang umaga po, Mr. Ascona. Welcome to It's a Beautiful Day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, good morning po.
All right, let's start off first with yung what an RSSI is, or yung red-striped soft-scale insect. What impact does it have to the environment, and particularly sugarcane po, and how big is the problem in Negros Occidental?
Okay, yung the RSSI is actually an insect, no? We call it the red-striped soft-scale insect, and it's a leaf sap sucking insect. Mm-hmm. So it sticks itself to the bottom of the leaf, and then it sucks the sap out of the leaf, which destroys the leaf. The other problem that we have with it is yung excrement po nito is very susceptible to fungus, so it leads to fungi damage pa rin to the sugarcane. So we estimate that it's about, if infected, it affects the production of that sugarcane by about 50% po.
Mm-hmm. I was reading through reports po about the RSSI infestation right now in Negros Occidental. If I'm not mistaken po, the SRA has reached out to Governor Eugenio Jose Lacson and the mayors of 11 towns in the area po. What help does the SRA need when it comes to the support from the local government units in trying to address this problem po?
Okay. Yeah, the biggest support that we need from the LGUs is information dissemination. That's the biggest. And second po is some sort of a quarantine procedure to limit the transfer of sugarcane from one town to the other. The situation right now in Negros is we still have a lot of farmers who are harvesting. So when they harvest, they bring sugarcane from the south of Negros all the way up to the north. And some farmers bring sugarcane from the north going to the south. So the insect spreads with it. What we're trying to do is contain it. RSSI is not new. We have observed this 2022 to 2023 in northern Luzon, and we were able to contain it. Now, surprisingly, what we heard is there were some sugarcane plants transported from Luzon to Negros and northern Negros, and this is where the spread started. So the LGUs can be a very big help trying to control it po.
Well, you mentioned it's a big surprise that galing pang Luzon or sugarcane based in Luzon, yung RSSI. Is there any real explanation so far? If I'm not mistaken, there has been a task force already created to address these problems. But then when it comes to yung source po nito, do we have any clear reason kung paano to nangyari?
Yeah, there's information, there's allegations that certain farmers or people wanted to transfer planting materials, basically, or different varieties from Luzon to Negros, and probably this caused the transfer because we've had it contained in northern Luzon for almost 2 years, 2 to 3 years already, and however, I think now is not the time to start pointing fingers. It's here. We just have to work double time to contain it.
Sir, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong with the numbers I'll be reading out here, because as of Friday, there have been 87 hectares of sugarcane farms in 7 areas in the north, 3 areas in the south, and 1 in central Negros. Do we have an update on that number? Is there more? Are there more hectares now infested with the RSSI, or are we reducing that number already?
Okay, the numbers you're reading out is the last update that I got. This was Friday. Today, Monday, we are doing experiments with drone spraying. We're testing out spray drones in an area way south of Negros, where there is still no RSSI infestation. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to determine if, okay, the main aspect of RSSI kasi it lives under the leaf. So if you spray the plant, you usually spray the top and you don't hit the bottom. So what we're trying to do now, we're experimenting using drones. We really hope that the prop wash generated by the drone will disturb the leaves to a certain amount where we will hit the bottom of the leaves. So this morning, the SRA personnel are testing out the drones and seeing if we could hit the bottom of the leaves. If we do this, drone spraying will greatly help control and elimination of RSSI in the sense that drones can spray. We have people in Negros who have the capacity to spray 50 hectares per day. So as to the update of the area, sad to say, I think it's over 87 hectares already. I also have the same numbers as you.
Okay.
But it's continually spreading. It spreads very slowly. But the thing is, we have farmers who buy planting materials from the north. Usually, if it's harvest and planting season in Negros, we have trucks running south to north and trucks running north to south. So it's a bit difficult to control.
If I'm not mistaken po, the pesticides has been requested from the Department of Agriculture in that particular region, and they have been deploying several pesticide tankers as well. for those who are concerned about pesticides in general, is this the only real way to address yung RSSI problem when it comes to the scale that we are seeing at the moment, especially?
Yes, I think the fastest and most efficient way to control is through pesticides, no? Especially if it's a quick response. And then SRA has been studying and will continue to study natural control. We've done that with other pests in the industry wherein we identify a predator and then we introduce it. But the RSSI actually is not a local insect. We discovered this in northern Luzon. We could not even identify it. We had to send it abroad, and then it was, I think, the South Koreans who identified it. And the biggest infestation in the world of RSSI is in Egypt. So it's a bit far away from us, but we already have it here. So in the moment, the DA and the SRA are giving out and as well as suggesting pesticides to farmers to try and contain infestation. And hopefully we will not affect the production too much.
Sir, if I'm not mistaken, a previous statement from the RSA did talk about yung impact ng RSSI on the plant itself, which could reduce the sugar output by 50%, possibly more, depending on the situation of how infected a certain plant is. How do you see this affecting yung the economics of the sugarcane farmers, especially sa Negros region, which is known for its sugarcane in general po?
Yes, Negros supplies 65% of the national produce, and 85% of all the farmers in the Philippines are land reform beneficiaries, 1 to 2 hectares. We were hit by a very bad El Nino last year, and these farmers had to replant, refertilize. So they actually went into the harvest season with close to double the cost to produce. However, we were very lucky with a very fair farm gate price. And so right now the farmers are actually planting again and getting ready for next year's harvest, which will begin October of this year. Our planting and harvest season takes about 6 to 8 months a year, actually. So with this infestation, if we don't control it, this will be another blow for all the farmers. And we're a bit lucky that this spread, RSSI spreads very slowly. And we've hit 11 towns and cities, and we are only at 87 hectares. So hopefully we will be able to contain it. If not, then it will greatly affect our supply po.
How big po is the support from the other agencies, both independent and government, private and government, considering that you are also receiving support from the National Crop Protection Center at the UP Los Baños, from LGUs, obviously as well, and as well as the Department of Agriculture? How big is the effort needed to bring all of this together to address this problem, to ensure na by next harvest, medyo siguro hindi siya masyado na apektado in terms of the overall economics towards the end?
Okay, all of the extension resource of SRA is out now. We're out in the fields trying to address this with as much pesticide and technical effort that we can. The regional DA already met with us. We sat down with a plan. We already wrote a letter to our DA secretary, and offhand, he gave us a very positive response for probably additional funding in case it is needed. So as of the moment, the support from all agencies, public and private, is very strong. The drone operators and some of the contractors are private, and everybody is giving a concerted effort to try and control it. Almost all of these people live off the sugar industry, actually. So we very much want to protect the industry, especially here in Negros.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good luck in the fight and trying to contain this infestation po. And hopefully we can talk to you sometime soon for more positive updates. Maraming salamat po. Thank you so much.
Maraming salamat po. We will also keep you updated. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was the SRA Administrator, Mr. Pablo Luis Ascona. Now we've got more stories for you, plus our horoscope of the day with Master Hans Kua after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Hi there and welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Eto na! Is today gonna be your lucky day? Let's go find out from resident energizer and feng shui master Hans Kua in our horoscope of the day. Take it away, Master Hans!
Good morning! It's a beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope for today, Monday, May 26. Para sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat, panatiliing healthy ang skin. Eat food na rich in antioxidant, turquoise at 6. Para naman sa Year of the Ox, masarap magmahal, pero self-love is more important. Magenta at 9. Year of the Tiger naman tayo, be like Michael Jackson. There is always room for improvement. Maroon at 4. Kay Rabbit naman tayo, matuto ng tamang paghawak ng pera para maiwasan ang financial stress. Lavender at 5. Sa Year of Dragon naman tayo, maging proactive sa pagbuo ng bagong ideas. Black at 2. Sa Year of the Snake naman tayo uminom ng turmeric tea para sa natural na anti-inflammatory benefit. Brown at 7. Ito naman! Sa Year of the Horsey, huwag matakot humingi ng tulong kung kailangan. Mint at 3. Sa mga Year of the Sheep naman tayo, gumamit ng natural skincare products para maiwasan ang allergy. Peach at 8. Sa mga Year of the Monkey naman tayo, magtabi ng pera para sa iyong travel goals. Aqua at 9. Kay Year of the Rooster naman tayo, find ways to improve your skill set sa trabaho. Yellow at 4. Sa Year of the Dog naman tayo, minsan, hug is all you need. Russet at 5. Sa mga Year of the Pig naman, huwag masyado magpuyat para hindi bumaba ang immune system. Tial at 3. Ako po, si Master Hans Kua. Paalala lang ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan araw-araw ang horoscope of the day. Dito lang po sa It's a Beautiful Day!
Thank you so much, Master Hans Kua. Na-miss mo siya, no?
Alam mo, the thing I love the most lately, ang grabe yung variety ng colors niya.
I know!
Feeling ko kaya niya mag-color analysis Color analysis ng aura mo, di ba? Like,
maybe there is such a thing.
Are you rosette? Are you TL? Ano
diba?
to? Ano ka ba?
Rosette at saka lavender, aquamarine.
Mint daw ako
Mint
diba?
ka.
Nagutom ako. Gusto ng mint chocolate. It's like, Pero, I mean, like, diba, ang grabe yung color schemes niya lately. I'm so impressed by Master Hans, as always.
You're so amazing, Master Hans. Now, let's move on. Tradition and glamour took center stage in Angeles City as 30 stunning women from different barangays participated in the 2025 Grand Santa Cruzan Parade.
Super star na po ito sa mga ganito event. Masaya po ako mag-add ko sa kanila at it's an experience po.
Barangay Balibagos, Eliza Marie Cuguyan was crowned Reina de las Flores, celebrating beauty, brains, and cultural heritage. Mayor Carmelo Lasatin Jr. said the event not only honors religious traditions, but also promotes the city's blooming flower industry. The women wore locally designed gowns, showcasing the craftsmanship of homegrown talent.
And before we end, let's take a look at this picture-perfect pair trending on social media. Meet Taylor and Pagpapala! One of the natural pairs of Philippine eagles at the National Bird Breeding Sanctuary. The couple was caught together by their enclosure CCTV, going strong for 3 straight years. Grabe, that's a pair that sadly Coach V doesn't need to help.
Yes.
Oo.
You know, long-term relationships aren't just for humans, but the eagles merong long-term relationship. And you know what's interesting about this pair? They chose each other naturally. Kasi yung ibang breeding couples...
Hindi sila nag-dating up. Hindi sila nag-dating up.
May human intervention kasi, apparently, yung ibang breeding couples. So ito, they really chose each other. Parang love at first. Hindi siya arranged marriage.
I don't know kung love at first sight. Kasi malay mo, baka may ex si Taylor.
Baka,
Oo,
right?
diba? Like, there could be... Baka
Or
may
si Pagpapala, merong ex.
Oo, baka may love triangle. Baka love square. Diba?
But they found each other and they are sitting beside each other side by
3
side.
years strong.
3 years strong.
3 years strong.
You
Keep
go.
on going. Oo.
Magpapala.
My gosh, that is it for us this Monday, May 26. I'm back. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
And I'm glad you're back. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Make today unforgettable by choosing joy and spreading love and kindness wherever you go. Join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
It's a Beautiful Day.